I said I was going to be on this hiatus, right? Because, in fact, uh, I'm I'm in I'm preparing for my off Broadway debut. Uh, I'm doing my one man show. You know it as Emil Amok, lost NPR host found under St. Mark's. I'm doing that. God, I have to. Where's the camera here? I and I'm not in my regular studio setup, so it's like it's strange because I don't. I'm trying to see where everything is here, but anyway, here's the information. If you go to fringe.nyc, you'll see how you get tickets. Yeah, I mean it's right here. Lost NPR host found under St. Mark's, and just scroll down and you book your tickets, share with your friends, and then see the calendar. You just click on the calendar spots. February 16th we open. February 16th, and then the 18th, the 23rd, 25th, 26th, and then March the 3rd, March the 4th. And you can, get your tickets. They say, Emil, why would I want to see your show? Well, look, some people around the country, in Orlando and DC, they said nice things about my show. Look what these people have said about my show. Orlando Weekly said, funny, poignant, try keeping pace with Guillermo's brilliant mind. That was a few years ago, but maybe I'm still okay. I don't know. Um, but yeah, let's see. It's always strange. You come to a weird place here, and like I'm outside of my closet, but my gong is still here. Of course, I can't go anywhere without my gong. So I'm talking about the show. Go to frigid frigid.nyc, and you can click on your tickets. See what kind of tickets you can get, and that you can get both tickets to go live, but also you can get the live streaming tickets. So you can be wherever you are in Honolulu, in California, wherever you are. Outside of New York, you just don't feel like driving in. February 16th through March the 4th, it's under St. Mark's Theater. Now, it's funny because I thought under St. Mark's would be in a church. But it's St. Mark's Place. It's not a church. And it's actually under a tattoo parlor. So if you find tattoos to be religious, maybe this is your thing. Go to under St. Mark's, go to the theater if you're nearby, and come see my show. And there you see the dates: February 16th through March the 4th. Click on them. Lots of tickets available. It's a very intimate space. Intimate. I'm telling you, it is so intimate. You're going to feel like you know me at the end. You think you know me now. You're going to say, God, I really know Emil much better. I tell the story about the $15.87 Filipinos. I tell about my journey in the media. I talk about affirmative action in Harvard. And I talk about PETA. I talk about a lot of things. I talk about being host of All Things Considered. It is a story about my life. And so you say, how can you possibly forget any lines, Emil? I mean, it's about your life. Well, it's actually it's a story that I've been developing over the last couple of years. So catch it at the Frigid Fringe, Frigid FRIGID.NYC to get tickets live at under St. Mark's in the East Village. Now I have been corrected. It's not necessarily the Lower East Side. It's the East Village, and so come check out uh, the play. And if you're not in New York, like I said, get a live stream ticket by going to frigid.nyc, frigid.nyc. Okay, here's the show. Welcome to Emil Amok's Takeout, my takes on all things considerable. I said I was going to go on hiatus to prepare for the show, and I am. I truly am. Because not only am I doing this show, but I'm also doing The Conductor, a short part in Ishmael Reed's The Conductor. We've talked about the conductor in the past. Ishmael Reed, a gifted, brilliant satirist, has written a play. He's taking it to the theater for the new city, which is also here in the East Village, and I'm going to play a small role there. So it's kind of exciting. Emil's off Broadway experience. So I hope you uh, can see both shows. And let me give you a quick. I should let me show you where you can share, or how I can share the theater for the new city. Where is it here? Here it is. And I've got to go do this and do this. Here it is. Okay, it's the conductor, right? The conductor at a two-act play by Ishmael Reed, directed by Carla Blank, and March 9th through March 26th. And it's, excuse me, yeah, I don't have all my gizmos, so I don't have my cough button. But Theater for the New City, that's coming up later on in March. So I'll be here for that. And they also have a situation where you can buy both tickets to see it live or live streamed. The conductor, it's at the Theater for the New City in New York City, and it's by the Oakland playwright and novelist and writer Ishmael Reed, directed by Carla Blank. And if you need to know something just a little about the conductor, it's about the whole race situation now happening at the grassroots level, involving what schools teach, what schools do, and people who want to come in and do the right thing and get the right curricula, get the right mix. You know, go over and see. What sort of people are being honored when buildings are being named by racists or imperialists, or so there are people in the school board who are trying to do certain things to make things right, and then there are the traditionalists who want to like stop them. So uh, this is happening throughout the country, and in the conductor, Ishmael Reed sort of encapsulates what happened in San Francisco in the Bay Area over the school board. Uh, the school board, what shall we call it? It's not really a fiasco. You'd call it a fiasco if you were biased, but there was a recall effort, and because it happened in San Francisco, it made national news because they said, "Wow, the woke have lost. If these woke school board members have been recalled, then there's hope for the rest of the country." Well, not true. Not true. And so Ishmael satirizes that. Check it out, The Conductor, Theater for the New City. So they're my off Broadway topics. Now, why? Why am I doing this special pop up besides plugging my off Broadway projects? I'm doing it because the news broke just about an hour ago that Dianne Feinstein is going to retire. Now, those of you who know me from my journalistic past, you know that I've known Dianne Feinstein ever since I was in high school. In fact, I shared a stage with her when I was a reporter at Channel 4. When it was the NBC affiliate, I spoke at Lowell High School's graduation one year, and those of you who were seniors that year remember, she spoke, and it was a 1-2 punch, me and then Dianne Feinstein, and really I'll never forget that moment because we didn't really become friends, but whenever I would see her on stories, she'd stop, she'd acknowledge me, uh, she remembered me. Now that's the thing, I haven't seen her in a while, and that would be a test of her memory if she even recalls who I was, because that was the whole issue, that Dianne Feinstein is losing it. Short-term memory issues for the last few years. She's been hanging on. It's been essentially staffers who've been propping her up, and finally, the news broke today. She is stepping down. 89 years old. I first read it in the New York Times. She said she would not seek re-election in 2024. And I thought that this was the reason why I did the pop-up today. I mean, there are other big stories. Another balloon was shot down the other day, or another unidentified object. We had another mass shooting at Michigan State. I wasn't going to like pop up for those, but this is significant because it impacts California and all the Asian Americans in California. This is our senator. And Feinstein has always been loyal and good. Who would replace her? Trailblazing Democratic power broker is how the New York Times described her. And in fact, she is using some of her power broking muscle here because she is not retiring immediately. And by not retiring immediately, she really stymies Representative Barbara Lee, who was poised to be the next, or maybe the first. She wouldn't be the first, but she would be the only African American senator in the Senate right now because Kamala Harris left. It was Kamala Harris. She was the only one. Then she became vice president. And before her, there was just Carol Mosley Braun from Illinois. So there were only two. Barbara Lee would have been the third. It's history making. And Dianne Feinstein could have said, I'm stepping down now. I'm 89. I'm going to step down. And Gavin Newsom, the governor, has said he would nominate or appoint an African American woman. And on that short list would have been Barbara Lee. But it's not happening that way. I mean, a lot of people thought maybe it would happen that way. I mean, you look at some of the other appointments. The other appointments have been people step down. They let Newsom be the arbiter, and they let Newsom be the person to appoint someone like Alex Padilla, or in the case of the Attorney General, Rob Bonta. They get a huge advantage as an incumbent going into the election, right? Even though they're only there for about a year, right? Huge advantage. And it means that it really puts a kibosh on the plans of other people who want to come in. So if Feinstein had done that and said, I'm retiring now, that would have been great news for House Representative Barbara Lee of Oakland, a stalwart progressive, a 90%, well, she wins by a landslide all the time in Oakland. She would have been the only African American senator in the Senate right now, female senator, and only the third in history. And Feinstein didn't do it. Feinstein said instead that she would play out her term to the end of 2024. She's got a year. She could go now in 2023. But no, she said, I'm going to stay out another year and then not run for re-election. And simply by saying that, she flexed a little Dianne Feinstein muscle. Was it good for California? Was it good for, who was it good for? It wasn't good for Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is out. Well, let me just say this. Barbara Lee does not have the advantage of incumbency if she was looking for that. Barbara Lee was a little coy about whether she was going to run. She said, well, the news broke a few weeks back that yes, she would run. She didn't really make a grand announcement. Meanwhile, other people like Katie Porter, House Rep Katie Porter from Southern California, Adam Schiff, also from Southern California, well-known people, right? Adam Schiff from the impeachment, and power fundraisers. I think both of them have raised, if not both, $1 million each, but a lot of money is coming in to get that Feinstein seat. Barbara Lee needed Feinstein to go now to have any kind of hope, unless there are some progressives who say Barbara Lee's the one, unless there are people who say this is Barbara Lee's seat. I don't know how Barbara Lee's going to do it now. I think she was sort of coy waiting for Feinstein, but in the end, Barbara Lee is now, she's going to be going out there looking for funds to run, probably trailing Katie Porter and Adam Schiff. And from the reports that I've seen, Feinstein pretty much gave her blessing to Adam Schiff. So, like I said, this is a big move just by saying Feinstein is not retiring now, but is going to play out her term because it leaves Barbara Lee high and dry. And for people in Northern California, a little disappointing because people were looking at Barbara Lee becoming that next African American senator. Not since Kamala Harris, right? Because Kamala Harris became vice president. It would have been historic, and I don't know. It might still happen. You never know. Dianne Feinstein might change her mind. She might say, things are getting kind of tough here, but this is really a do nothing Congress. It wouldn't take long for her just to like play out to 2024, because what is Congress going to do really in this divided government situation? They're not going to get anything passed. Uh, but she still says that she's going to do a lot of things. Well, the thing that she's doing is she's kind of blocking Barbara Lee from getting any kind of leg up on other competitors like Adam Schiff or like Katie Porter. Katie Porter's a progressive, doesn't have the same kind of, say, experience as Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is a progressive to the core, um, has stood up to the establishment, has stood for peace, has stood up against war, against any kind of diminishment of the War Powers Act. Barbara Lee is as principled as they come in Congress. She deserves a shot at the Senate, but whether she gets one, I don't know now. Can she raise the money? Would she leave a safe situation like being House Rep for Oakland, Berkeley, Alameda County, which has been pretty cushy for her? I mean, she's got it made in terms of how there's congressional people who just like hide out, and then suddenly you see they cast a vote and you say, wow, they're they're still there. Happens all the time. Uh, so she's in a a pretty safe district. She was really hoping that Newsom's promise that he would nominate her in the event of a Feinstein early retirement. That was that was key. Not going to happen now because Feinstein says she is playing it out till 2024. So you want to know how someone? I mean, is it a matter of? I mean, did she intend to do that, Feinstein? No one does anything by accident, right? Not in politics. Someone, if not Feinstein, if her short-term memory is so poor as the reports say, and as some people I know personally have experienced with Feinstein, who knows? Who put a bug in her ear and said, "Look, you better do this." And certainly, I think Newsom had to be in on it too, because if Newsom wanted something, I mean, Newsom's always been considered Feinstein's guy, or it's part of the California, you know, uh, I don't want to call it a machine because it's not quite the same kind of machine as it was under Burton. But when the Democrats, the way the Democrats have, uh, laid out their card to the next generation, certainly Newsom was considered like the next generation. He's made it up to governor. He's found himself somewhat stalled. He says he doesn't want to be president. Time's not right, apparently. Although a couple months ago, people were saying maybe DeSantis and Newsom are going to be the front runners at some point. So it's hard to say who did what here or who is pulling the strings. but the strings aren't going Barbara Lee's way because Feinstein is not retiring immediately. So, just a little analysis from me. I think it's kind of fascinating if you follow California politics, as I do, because California, Asian American state, Democratic state, and you know, the thing about I've written about Feinstein just holding her own. I was just wishing that she would stay the course. Maybe if you asked me 6, 7, 8 months ago, because the way the Senate works, it's all based on seniority, and you you leave or you have someone with seniority leave, and then what do you have? You have weak senators who, even though they're senators, they can't do a lot. I mean, Alex Padilla is a nice guy, but he's getting there. I mean, in time, he will develop the strength of, say, a Barbara Boxer. But, you know, the last year or so, he's sort of, you bide your time, in other words. And in some ways, senior senators, they still wield a lot of power. And so I kind of, if you asked me 8 months ago, wanted Feinstein to hang in there as long as she could. But how would she exit? That was the question. And the exit strategy, for me now, I think the best exit strategy would be for her to retire, allow Barbara Lee to be appointed, and then let Barbara Lee run. I don't know if Barbara Lee would win. I mean, it's the same thing as Rob Bonta when he was Attorney General. When Kamala Harris had to be, or when a new Attorney General had to be appointed, Rob Bonta got appointed. He had to run again within a year. But it was a great deal for the Filipino American community. A lot of people feared that maybe there would be some challengers at the AG level or for the AG race. There were, but they were quickly stymied by the establishment Democratic Party. Their man was Bonta. Here, I think the establishment says Schiff is the guy. And I think Feinstein sees it that way. And I think Feinstein, to give her cover, is hanging in there. And even though people want Feinstein to retire right now, they do. There's people out there that say, why wait till 2024? Retire right now. They will allow her to play out her run till 2024 because it's going to give the Senate race to an establishment Democrat, probably Adam Schiff. I mean, it's hard to bet against Adam Schiff. He can get on TV anytime he wants. He can raise money. If not Adam Schiff, then Katie Porter is already raised $1 million. White, progressive, Southern California. There are two names right there. I haven't even mentioned Barbara Lee. That's the sad thing. So that's why I had to come on today. Just, I saw that pop up on my screen as I was doing a little rehearsal, and I said, "No, Feinstein she is really she's sticking it to Barbara Lee, whether she knows it or not. I think surely she knows it. She has to, or someone who told her to do that surely knows that this will tip it to more establishment Democrats. Because even if it's an open race, the people who raise the money, people with big names, Southern California names, they will have an advantage over Barbara Lee, African American woman from Oakland, Northern California. Unless, and I say this in a column I wrote for the Oakland Post, unless there are benefactors who come in and say, we're going to pump in some money into Barbara Lee's campaign because she deserves a shot at the Senate. She deserves her shot at history. That could change things. But who would be that person? That's why I think Dianne Feinstein did what she did because she has a bit of cover, right? It's all about the cover. It's all about, well, I like Barbara Lee, but I'm just gonna like stay on. And that's what Dianne Feinstein wanted all along. She just wants to stay on. And if she stays on, then she can repel all those demands that she retire right now. And then suddenly those people who want her to retire right now say, oh, well, okay, you can go on till 2024. We'll compromise. You go on till 2024, and, you know, that's all right. We'll get our person in there. If their person is Adam Schiff or Katie Porter or whomever, just not Barbara Lee. So if you're a person of color in Northern California, an African American, a progressive, who's hoping that this would be Barbara Lee's time for history, sad. It's a little sad. This is politics. This is politics. What can I say? This is politics. So that's it for our show today. I mean, I just had to share that with you. And let me just say one more thing in terms of the show, the Frigid Fringe. I know a lot of people say, "What is the Frigid Fringe, Emil?" Well, the Frigid Fringe is frigid.nyc. It's a fringe festival. The fringes go back to the Big Daddy Fringe is in Edinburgh in Scotland, but all the English language countries and some non-English language countries have these fringe festivals. Canada, New Zealand, Australia. Um, Here in America, the best fringe in America is Orlando, which I've been to. Also, I played at the Capital City Fringe in Washington D.C. and San Diego. So I've been to like four different fringes plus some solo fests. So like 5 solo fests over the last 5 years. And I was always reluctant to go to New York because New York is like the big plays on Broadway, but the fringe is about shows that don't need a full house on Broadway, because the shows don't cost millions of dollars. We don't have to make sure that we get the house sold, because if we don't, we close. Small under 50 seat theaters, low price, but it's a place to tell stories. It's a place to tell our stories that usually wouldn't be told. And so that's why I'm at the Fringe. I'm at the Fringe because it's it, it's a theater tradition, right? It's a theater tradition, and I, I'm honored to be able to tell my stories, and I hope that you can go to Frigid FRIGID.NYC and go to the page. Emil Amok, lost NPR host, found under St. Mark's. It's at the under St. Mark's Theater on St. Mark's Place. Silly me, I actually thought that it was under a church. That's how Californian I am. It's just St. Mark's Place, and there it is. It's under a tattoo parlor, you know. But it's a good show, and I hope you can make it if you're in the New York City area or if you're close by. If you're not, check out a live stream ticket if you can. If not, contact me. I'll give you a scholarship ticket. And if not, let me know. I'll come to your town and do the show. So there. So lots of ways to see Emil Amok, lost NPR, who is found under St. Mark's. So anyway, so thanks for this pop. This is probably the last pop-up for a while. We open on Thursday. And unless something else happens, we'll probably just repeat the show 483 or 482. Anyway, regular listeners of the show know, I would be remiss not to say Happy Valentine's Day to everyone today. Of course, if you're watching on a replay, who cares about Valentine's Day, right? No. Happy Valentine's Day to all. I love you all. You know that. You know I love you all. I love all the people I should love, and even all the people I shouldn't love, because they're deserving of some love, because that is a basic tenet of this show that we it's love. It's all about love, showing love to people you don't want to show love to. So I'm showing love to, to all of you, even if you don't buy a ticket. That's all you. Nope. and and the gong says thank you, thank you. All right. So gong has a part in the show, of course it does. So we like to close with a little meditation, a loving kindness metta meditation, because it's always about love. On Valentine's Day or any other day, remember, it's love for yourself, but before you do, show love to others. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Check out my columns on the ALDEF blog, aaldf.org/blog. Uh, Check out this replay and other replays on amok.com. Till next time, Emil Guillermo, Mahal Gita.